Hey YouTubers, Mike Martins here with the Mike Martins channel. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mike. I'm in a small little village about 12 miles north of Merritt here, off a little highway here. I usually take my car and kind of test run it. Not really test run it, but drive it up here. It's nice and quiet. This is the site of where the old church got burnt down. Somebody, an arson, burnt the church down. I think it's 2 years ago. So they finally rebuilt it in a little old cemetery here. Oh, there's somebody driving by. I usually come here sometimes, drink my coffee in peace. Sometimes I bring the kids here. We sit at these tables. This place is completely empty. It's abandoned. I don't know if this place has been open in a couple of years. So I bring the kids here sometimes when we talk about the Goonies and looking for buried treasure, and we look around here playing, just kind of like with the kids, because my kids have watched the Goonies like 40 times now. And so they're always looking for buried treasure somewhere. Anyway, speaking of buried treasure, what is going on, people? How is everyone doing out there? What have we been up to? How have we been keeping our sanity, people? How are we keeping sane during this bizarro time we're living in right now? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing to keep our sanity? Right? So let's kick off what's going on. Guys, this Saturday, Mike in the Night, Florian Heise says is going to be on Mike in the Night. It's very anticipated, much anticipated. I hope everything goes okay. Audio-wise, things always get weirded out when you're trying to, especially when you're so excited. Technology usually just goes blah. But usually we have a good show. With no errors or no problems and stuff. So I'm looking forward to have him on the show. Lots of questions to ask him. Check out his channel if you haven't yet. Heise says. Check it out, guys. Anyways, what's going on? Okay, so China has created this really interesting, this new anonymous tattletale software that's going to come on all new smartphones, built-in software. It's going to come on all new smartphones in China, mainland China, for people to auto-report anybody who is misleading or talking bad about the Chinese government. It's an article we put up on our community post. It's there for you guys to read. So it's going to be actually installed now going forward on every smartphone. And it's, those apps that you can't take off your phone, it's kind of pre-built into the phone. Well, that's the case. They are looking at now bringing them in pre-built, pre-programmed, ready on the phones, ready to go. So now, if you have a neighbor that's doing something they shouldn't be, well, you're going to be reporting them on your app. And then you get rewards, actually, through your social credit score. So you got to kind of expose others or expose what the regime doesn't like for you to get boosted up on their like list, right? That's very dangerous. Another thing that's happening is there's lots happening with China, but the media is doing a somewhat good job of hiding it. Joe Biden said the other day, he was like, not on my watch. China's becoming competitive. China's becoming a world superpower. And what happens when we give the reins to a communist country? I don't think ever in history have we ever given the reins of a superpower. First it was the Portuguese in the 1600s. Then it was the Spanish were there, but Spanish were a little bit different. They weren't actually a global empire, where the Portuguese were in China, India, huge parts of Africa, and half of South America with Brazil, right? It was a little bit different with that empire. That empire actually traded. But what about? Then it was. You could put the Spanish in there for a bit, but then it was the English. The French tried to get in, they failed, and then it was the Anglo-American Empire, right? Now the problem is, what do we do when we hand over the reins? You see, America has a constitution. America has a Bill of Rights. America has freedoms, and I wish Canada had more of that when it comes to that. But they're losing them as we speak. As we speak, America's losing its freedoms. The Constitution they're portraying it as being outdated, which is BS. They're portraying the language as it doesn't work for today's date, which is BS. I believe in the citizen to carry and arm themselves and protect, and to, at all means, to protect their family. So I'm a true believer in that. I'm a true believer in the freedom of speech, the freedom of assembly, the freedom of family, the freedom of choice, the freedom of doing the right thing, right? We get taught all our lives how to do the right thing. Going through school, what's the right thing to do? What is the common thing? How can we benefit man? Well, now they're blatantly governments and powers, select powers, handpicked secret society communities, secret communities within the government. They know they exist, right? The experts that go around telling people what they should and shouldn't do. The experts. Who are the experts, right? Anyways, so that's happening. Another thing, inflation is hedging up, and it's hedging up real fast. And I think it's already very relevant in Canada. I was on a Twitch show last night with the gentleman that's running for mayor of Calgary, Kevin, if you guys don't know him, and Kevin Johnson. I was on his channel last night with Eduardo. So if you guys, I'm going to see if I can find a link to that show. He's on Twitch, Kevin J. Johnson. See if I could find it for you guys and put it below. I was on that show yesterday for an hour and 20 minutes discussing the situation we're in right now. And Amerifornia will come. Amerifornia is coming, guys. Amerifornia is going to become a very shock to Americans. It's Americans. In Canada, it's already here, right? I've already prepared for California. I've already prepared for it because 5 years ago, I left the big city knowing what was going to happen. I moved to a small town, and I knew what was going to happen. I knew where things were going to go. I knew it. I already knew what was going to happen. So it's really sad to see what's going on. Okay, so what's going on? It looks like Iran and Iraq are working on peace. Iran and Iraq are working on a... This is a big deal on the chessboard, guys. Oh, Mike. Well, what are you talking about? Iran and Iraq, who cares? Let them have peace. No, this is a big deal. For the longest time, Iran and Iraq have been enemies, and they've been poised enemies or posted enemies by the West, basically. Because if Iran and Iraq become allies and actually start creating an economy together, a good economy, and that's what they passed, an economic bill yesterday. And this is going to be another move on the chessboard, right? So there's lots happening right now. You got houses going for $800,000 over asking, 2-3 hours outside of a major city, and no one bats an eyelash. You see a lot of real estate agents, a lot of people that are in this really crummy system of ripping people off. Like, not all. There's some that are doing it. I'm not saying all. You got good people and everything, right? But this is what's happening, guys. This is where it's headed, and I'm really scared how the people that are supposed to be running things are actually running it into the ground, right? What else we got going on? We got a lot. Apparently, there's a secret fleet of Chinese military ships that the Chinese have never, or are a secret, or the Chinese have never admitted to owning. And that's another article that's floating around. So, and they're all over the South China Sea. So, okay, I live way out in Canada. How is China going to affect me? Well, it is. If they become the superpower, they're going to start imposing and wanting to actually control the COVID passports. If the Canadian government control that, there's ways of getting around it. There's ways of going to court with it. But if it's the non-Canadian government and it's a foreign power that's actually powering this, we're in trouble here in Canada. We're in a lot of trouble. So, that's another thing that's happening. There's a lot of things that's happening that people don't understand. And if we give the reins of power to a communist country, what do we do? How do we, are we going to all automatically be put into some sort of social credit score? Or are they going to start monitoring us? Do we have to account? Speaking of accountability or accounting, not accounting numbers, but accountability, I was threatened by, it looks like England, London police, because they were accusing me of trying to start a peaceful protest in London, England. Stop the bill. Look at Stop the Bill, Kill the Bill. Kill the Bill means to kill the bill they're trying to pass in England, where people are not allowed to protest, people are not allowed to go out in public and create forms of awareness of what's going on. People are not allowed to assemble. People are not allowed to do nothing. Police have these authoritarian rights to go in and do what they want on your property. And also, not only that, if you leave England without any good reason, they could fine you £5,000. If you want to go to Portugal on vacation, that's why my friend is telling me, he lives in South Portugal. He's telling me there's a lot of people from England moving in, like a lot of English people moving in from England into Portugal. But the biggest one I heard is from Argentina. People from England are moving to Argentina. They're selling all their assets and quietly tiptoeing around, maybe using Bitcoin or maybe using a way to transfer their funds, and they're getting the heck out of England because they're seeing the totalitarianism that's happening there. I just want to be free. That's why I left the city, you know? You're not free in a big city anymore. In America, maybe. Like maybe if you're living in Miami or if you're living in Fort Lauderdale, you still have that sense of like kind of do what you want, free will. But in the big cities nowadays, it's really tough in Canada, and I don't know how it is in Sydney and Melbourne, but I think things are going to just get worse. Anyways, guys, I'm just here enjoying this beautiful morning. It's morning coffee with Mike, guys. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Just enjoying the mountainous, beautiful views. Look at that one over there. Oh, I'm losing battery. All right, guys, I got to go. We'll talk soon. I promise. I'll be at the shop soon.